Hey guys, thanks for clicking. We appreciate that. So today we're going to talk about some of the, I call them ornamental grasses. I'm sure there's 100 different names for these things, but they're the big tall grasses. You got to cut them down every year and they grow pretty big and they eventually get too big. And we are going to remove some and we are going to transplant some. Now, I'm sure there's 100 different ways to do this. I'm just going to show you how we do it. Okay, so let's flip it around and take a look at what we got. Apologize for the grammar. Let's flip it around and take a look at what we have got. I don't know why I say that. Anyway, here's the grasses. They get pretty big. This thing is probably over 6 feet tall. And now some people leave them for the winter, and you can either cut them in the spring or you can cut them now. We're going to cut it now just because it gives us a little bit more room in the winter, especially with snow. So that's what we have. And then I have a few overgrown I'm going to show you over here. Here are a few that we already trimmed, but as you can see, they get really, really big. These started out as small little, 6x6 patches. And I mean, they're huge now. This is probably 4 or 5 feet across. And a lot of times, as you can see, they kind of grow like around, and I mean, they are pretty solid and they are in that ground. Don't mind the edging, that's just coming out of there. But now here's a good example. As you can see, this one has gone in a almost a full horseshoe, and then there's a big kind of rot hole in the center here. So basically, long story short, this thing is just way overgrown. So what we want to do is we're going to cut it up into pieces and we're going to transplant it in a different area. Now, if you've ever tried to move one of these things or dig one of these up, they are pretty tough. So we're going to cheat a little bit today, and I'll show you what we're going to use. That's right, folks. That is a stump grinder. And yes, that is what we are going to use to cut up those grasses into sections and remove them. Now, I'm sure some of you gardener types out there are like, oh my God, don't do that. Well, let me tell you, we're trying to go fast and easy here, and this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to show you how we're going to remove these and transplant them, and we'll show you how we're going to trim the other one. Okay, so let's cut down this other grass first. I'm sure there's several ways to do this too. I'm just going to show you how we do it. Some people take a strap and they tie the grass up and bind it up. I've seen that work before. We've tried it several times, and by the time you mess with the strap and you do that, they're pretty light. We just cut them and then we just kind of rake them up. That's how we do it. As far as cutting them, everybody tries a different tool. There's one tool only that does this. It's called a hedge trimmer. I'll show you what we got. This is it. This is what we're going to use. It's just a basic hedge trimmer. We go in there, we cut it, it cuts it fast, and it's pretty easy to clean up. I forgot my glasses. You should always wear your glasses. Safety first. There you have it, folks. That's pretty much how you cut those down. And if you're going to leave it, that's it. You're pretty good for the season. It'll just grow back in the spring. Usually late spring they start coming up. As you can see how big this one got too. This was also probably, no more than 12 inches by 12 inches. And in just a few years, they get really, really big. So enough of that. Back to the other side here. Now, ideally what we want to do is we want to take these out because they get really huge and they're kind of in a bad spot here. So let's try to cut them out in sections with the stump grinder and see if we have any success. Yeah, let's give it a go. All right, so now we're taking our pieces and we're just transplanting them. We're gonna use them in a border kind of situation. They're really, really easy to transplant. I mean, you don't have to go crazy. Dig a little hole, you put these sections in, you just tamp them down, and these things will come back next year strong. They are really, really versatile. Like I said, I've moved them several times. And there we go. We just have like, you know, a row of the border things. And this is just pieces from one of those. And that's what we do with them. So there's one row. That's just from one of those three that we took out. It's probably a nice row of, I'm going to say that's probably about 30 to 40 feet. And the other two we're going to stretch out along the rest of this fence down there, because that's going to give us really nice privacy. And like I said, these things grow fast. Hey, so out of those 3 grasses, you see we pulled them out, we transplanted them, and I know it looks a little rough on those. Like, you don't really need to dig, they're very shallow, you don't have to dig deep holes for those, and they really take to cutting up and replanting very easily. We've done them several other times. Actually, in the end of this video, I'm going to try to put a little picture of ones we did the year before that came back this previous year, and they were just super healthy. They came in great. They really, they rooted right in. So these things are great, really good to split, and I'll show you what we accomplished here today. We had a few extra holes that we didn't get to fill, but I think there's probably 100 feet, I'm not sure, but these are all just retransplanted from those ones we cut up. I think we got about 20 of them. Some of them are a little bit bigger than other ones, but like I said, they're amazing. And next year, probably by July, we'll have, nice 6-foot tall grasses going all the way down this border here on our side. So I'm pretty excited to see what that's going to look like. I think down the end, we have to get the rake and just fill in a couple of these. But here's like a couple that we didn't set in here, but you don't have to go any deeper than that. That's probably no deeper than the grinder goes down, about 6 inches maybe, and then literally you just take the rake and just walk around. You're good to go. That's it. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe. Peace, guys.